Hey guys, welcome back to Pages with Sidra. Today, we're jumping into Chapter 203 of The Greatest Estate Developer. If you haven't seen the earlier chapters, hit up the playlist first. But if you're ready, let's dive right in. The scene opens on chaos. A massive, crimson inferno, a swirling ball of destructive fire, hurtles toward the Frontera territory, tearing apart everything in its path. Buildings crumble under the scorching wave. In front of this apocalyptic sight, Javier stands firmly, bracing himself to stop the attack. He pushes forward with all his strength, desperately trying to hold back the deadly sphere. Suddenly, a system window appears. There's one thing you've misunderstood. Around them, the people of Frontera territory are doing everything they can to shield themselves from the devastating heat. An ogre throws himself forward, using his body as a shield to protect nearby humans. Others, too, rise to defend their loved ones against the blazing wave. Another system window flashes before Lloyd's eyes. Lloyd Frontera is not included in DP1. He was always fated to die. Meanwhile, Queen Magentano rushes toward Javier, who continues his desperate struggle to stop the inferno. A third system notification appears. The -1 has always meant Javier. Javier and Queen Magentano stand together, both pushing back against the enormous ball of fire. Another chilling message appears to Lloyd. In the ending spoiler, after Lloyd Frontera dies, the scene briefly shifts to a grim vision of the future. Javier crushed beneath the might of the King of Hell. Yet another message. Javier would naturally have fought the King of Hell to the end, and would have died as well. Back in the present, Lloyd steps forward toward the Hell King. A new window appears. But now, Lloyd smiles and speaks, his voice calm but firm. If you just meet a few of my simple requirements, I'll completely release you from your duties in Hell. The Hell King turns to look at him, listening intently. Another system message flickers. That method you've chosen will greatly shake the fate of the world. The Hell King turns back, raising his left hand and making a slow, deliberate gesture. The Crimson Inferno obeys his will, ceasing its destruction, and then vanishing completely. Javier gasps for breath, finally able to rest now that the attack is gone. A new message appears. Number of fates changed, DP-1. Javier collapses to his knees, exhausted. Queen Magentano kneels beside him, taking his right hand. Another message follows. Number of fates changed, DP-0. The Hell King speaks, his deep voice steady. I believe in your abilities. I'm sure you can set me free. But it doesn't look like you gain much in this situation, so what can I do for you? Lloyd tilts his head casually. Nothing special. I already know I can't beat you in terms of strength, so I'm just trying to choose the path that hurts the least. Another quiet system note appears. If someone you save goes to save someone else, that number counts toward DP. The Hell King places his hands behind his back. I can't grant a request to spare the villagers. As you know, by Worthrod's wish, I have a duty to kill the people around you too. Lloyd rests both hands on his waist and speaks casually. Well, that can't be helped. And even if they die, they'll reincarnate in the end, so I guess it's not such a big deal. A system window flashes before Lloyd's eyes. The hero Javier Azrahan resolves to grow stronger and to save more people. Javier is still on the ground, catching his breath. Lloyd points 2 fingers forward. I have 2 conditions. First, answer one of my questions. Second, when you make me work in Hell, don't cut off my arms and legs. Another system notification appears. Number of fates changed, DP1. The Hell King responds with a grave tone. That much. I can grant. Lloyd smiles faintly. We really do see eye to eye then. Let me ask you. But the Hell King cuts him off. No. A new system window appears, showing the fate score starting to rise. The numbers climbing, though not yet fully settled. The Hell King's expression hardens. First, tell me how you're going to set me free. I can't answer until then. Lloyd, face stern and commanding, calls out to the Hell King. Answer first. Another system window updates rapidly, the number jumping from 37 to 48 and still climbing. LLLYD stays silent, but his eyes lock onto the Hell King's furious, unyielding gaze. The Hell King, equally tense, stares right back at Lloyd. A new system alert flashes. Number of fates changed, DP1, 637, and increasing. Nearby, Queen Magentano tries to help Javier back onto his feet. The Hell King remains silent for a moment longer before his voice rings out, sharp and final. There's no reason for me to be dragged along right now. Negotiations are off. In an instant, his right hand ignites, forming another massive crimson inferno ball. Another system readout appears to Lloyd. 3001, 212, and still increasing rapidly. The inferno ball grows, swelling larger and larger as it speeds toward the Frontera territory. Another number flashes. 39, 642, 582, increasing too quickly to track. Queen Magentano has just lifted Javier, but her eyes widen in shock at the sight of the incoming attack. Javier sees it too, and suddenly springs into action. He makes a swift hand sign with both hands. A yellow glow bursts to life in his left palm, shaping itself into a crackling whip of energy. With a sharp motion, Javier lashes out with the glowing whip. The attack strikes cleanly, the energy whip slicing through the enormous crimson inferno ball, cutting it in half. Upon seeing this, the Hell King froze in shock for a moment, silently staring. Then his teeth clenched in rage. He roared at Javer, voice thundering. "You filthy bug!" The Hell King lunged forward, attacking Javer. The blow sent Javer flying, tearing apart the surrounding terrain. Rocks shattered and debris was hurled into the air. Enraged, the Hell King raised his left hand high and shouted, "Being polite ends here." Above the battlefield, countless massive meteors began appearing, descending in overwhelming numbers and colossal size. With a sweeping motion of his hand downward, the Hell King commanded the meteors to fall toward the Frontera territory. From behind him, a voice called out, "Hey, you old geezer." The Hell King turned. Lloyd stood there, eyes sharp, voice unwavering. Don't underestimate the main character. Multiple system windows appeared. The first read. Number of fates changed, DP 73,409,579. Another window popped up. You have exceeded 50 million DP. Would you like to use World's Strongest? A third message appeared. If you use this skill, all support from the messenger will be suspended. Lloyd's head lowered. He knew, if he accepted, all his summoned companions would be removed from this world. His gaze turned to Padong, Bangul, Hamong, Goming, and finally, his bone dragon. They all lowered their heads in solemn silence. Then, one by one, they smiled, laughing softly to show their approval of his choice. Lloyd whispered, voice heavy, "Thank you." His expression hardened. It was fun. Goodbye. He looked up and shouted, "Activate World's Strongest." His summoned beasts and dragon began to fade away. Bibiong, a monster born in this world, watched in horror. Seeing his friends disappearing, he cried out and ran toward them. He reached Bangul, his beloved, just as she was fading. She smiled warmly at him. He grabbed her, but she was dissolving into nothing. Bibiong broke down, sobbing uncontrollably as she vanished from the world. Another system message appears. Starting now, for 30 seconds, you are the strongest in the world. And one final note from the system. We love you. The interface itself begins to disappear. Power surged into Lloyd's body. He stood silently, letting the strength build. Finally, his power reached its peak, his body ready for the final battle. The Hell King stared at him. Lloyd casually moved his left hand to the side. He swung it in a slash. In an instant, every meteor in the sky shattered before touching the ground. Lloyd began walking toward the Hell King. He closed the distance, step by step. The two stood face to face. The Hell King smirked. 10 seconds have already passed. What can you do in the remaining 20? Without giving him a chance to speak further, Lloyd drove his fist straight into the Hell King's face with all his might. And that wraps up Chapter 203 of The Greatest Estate Developer. Lloyd's plans are unfolding, but the stakes keep getting higher. What challenges await him next? Stay tuned for the next episode. You won't want to miss it.